All right. We get started here. Looks like something weird is going on with my... Oh, I see what's the problem. Over far enough? What if I do that? There we go. Magic. Look at that. Not magic. Okay. Okay, I had to fix that. Well, welcome. I'm just gonna say this. I'm very tired. It's been a long day. So we're gonna see how this works, how long I go. I don't know any of these answers right now. We're gonna find out as we go. Alright, oh, it's way behind. Interesting. Okay, let's get started. M. Norris. Really respect the consistency. I need to get back on the grind myself. Yeah. I mean, that to me is, I think, how you get improvement. Though, having said that, I don't know. My rating certainly bounces all around. So, consistency, I feel like, is the answer. But maybe it's not. Who knows? Alright. Let's get started here. Okay, so... got this position. Taking a little look at it. Okay. Knight. Okay. I think we need to zoom in this stream. There's too much excess stuff. So let's fix this. Let's see. Yes. We're just gonna make this right now. Some professional streaming right here. We're gonna go browser. We'll call this, it's actually, the website is called Lee Study. So we'll go to Lee Study. That is not at all what I expected to happen. So that's not what we want. Wow, what is happening? Okay. Okay, I'm really not that great at this whole thing. Let's try it again. I thought I could do browser. Window capture. That's what we want, I guess. Alright. Lee Study. Select the window. We're going to do Lee Study. There it is. And then we're going to make it so we don't see all of this wasted space. So we just want basically here, I think is what we want. I think you guys want to see the tactic part, so we can expand it like that, and we will do this. What seems reasonable? You can let me know if you don't like the look of that. Actually, we don't need this top part either, right? We can cut that down and then expand it even more, so it's even bigger. There we go. Now we're talking. Okay, I think that works better. Yeah, that seems almost good. We want a little bit more. Okay, I don't know what happened there. That was the wrong one. This one. And I feel like I cut it off. Oh no, I didn't cut it too much. I just moved it too much. Okay, almost here. There, we're gonna do that. And that seems better. Now you can actually see the board better. Okay, sorry about that. The whole live setting it up on the fly. Probably not the best streaming, but that's okay. We got what we got. All right. So the move is knight e4. Okay, seems like a fine, reasonable improvement move. They play rook a to d8, putting their rook on the center file. Sounds good. We play rook a to c1, hanging our pawn. Not doing that much. Also, isn't our d pawn hanging? So isn't our a and d pawn hanging? So that's a very strange. Oh, sorry, it's rook a to e1. Much different. So we're hanging our e pawn, but we are putting our rook on an open file. They take that pawn on d3, which seems like exactly what they would have done. We play bishop h6, threatening their bishop, threatening rook e8. But remember, oh, no, their rook is still on e8. Okay, interesting. So the other rook is on d3. So what we're threatening here is some pretty serious stuff. They take our queen. Interesting. And so then we have mate. So the point is, their rooks are on d3 and f3. Nothing is guarding the back row. So we can go rook e1 to e8. They have to block with the bishop, but because our bishop is on h6, we can just take on f8. So we shall do that. Whoa, I don't know what happened there. We want to go here. Huh? What is the problem here? What I miss? Oh, we have a knight on e4. Right, I forgot about that. That's annoying. So we want to go knight on e4 to f6 check. If they take with their bishop, all the same holds true. We come down and mate them. If they take with the rook, all holds true. So that's fine. So we're moving the knight with the check. They will take our knight. We don't mind. We can now check. They'll block with the bishop, and then we mate with the king. With the rook. So I kind of got it right. I kind of didn't. I missed that one fact that our knight was on e4. This would be cool to get in a game. Yeah, I think I've gotten something similar to this in a game, and I think something similar has happened to me in a game. This feels like a very real-world kind of puzzle. Okay, let's go to the next one. Without the queen sack, I should say. Something similar, but I haven't gotten the cool queen sack. All right, so it's going to be Blackton will move, and it's bishop takes the knight. Okay. Rook takes back on d4. So we've pulled their rook to d4. I don't know what that gains us right now. We go bishop f3. Okay. So by capturing that knight, it allows our bishop to go to f3, which looks pretty good because now h1 would be mate. So how are we going to make that happen? If we sack the queen and they take what the king, if our rook was on like d6, it would be mate. So let's see if that's what ends up happening. So put our bishop on f3. They move their bishop to e2. Okay, that doesn't really fix the problem. Okay, sure enough, we lift our rook to c6. Here they should have probably taken the bishop. Instead, they developed queen d1, and now we can win. So I think this is going to work pretty much how we thought it would. Because we've got the rook to c6, we can just sack here on h2. The king takes. The rook comes over, check. The king only has one move to come back to g1. We play rook g1, and the king has nowhere to go. So here we go. Correct move. King takes. Our rook on c6 comes over. That is correct. Moves back to g1 and then mate. Okay, so we got there again. All right. We're going to move it up. We're going to move it from 6-ply to 8-ply. Get a little more challenging. The puzzles are super easy, so let's get a little more challenging in the visualization part, because that's really what we need to practice here. So bishop g7. So we're just moving the bishop back. Okay. I guess what that accomplishes is now we have two things attacking f2. So sure enough, they play rook. Oh no, they play rook e7. Okay, so they come in, attack the queen. It's backed up by the pawn. We play. Wow. Okay. Rook takes f2. I thought that was a bold move, but I guess it's just counterattacking their queen. They take our queen on f7 with the rook. We take their queen on c2 with the rook. They take our rook on f8. We take back. And then they play d7, threatening to queen and win the game. So where the heck are our pieces? So when the dust settles, we've got a rook on c2. We have our bishop on g7. These seem to be the most relevant things. What other material do we even have? We've lost both other pieces, right? So they did... Oh, I need to go through this again, I guess. Pond, what's up? I love these types of puzzles. They make my brain hurt, but if they feel like learning... I know! I feel the same. Like, once your brain starts hurting, you're like, okay, this I must be on the right track if it's hurting my brain. Alright. So bishop slides back to g7. Rook to e7. The front rook takes f2. Their rook takes our queen on f7. We take their queen. Yeah, so the rook comes down and takes. We take back. They play d7. Yeah, so the only pieces we have are our rook on c2, our bishop on g7, and then this pawn on c3. They have their rook, their knight is still there defending, and their bishop. So how are we going to win this? That rook still being on d1 feels like an issue. Just make sure it is, yeah. What do we do? Because if the rook wasn't on c2, I thought our answer was going to be push c2, attacking the rook, check. Like, it seems like it's a real problem. Our rook is in the way on c2. We can sack it on a2, but then what? All we have is the bishop and the pawn. It's just not quite enough. If we play rook c1 and sack that way, same problems. Oh, no, that's mate, isn't it? Oh, that's clever. So rook c1 looks terrible. They take with either piece. We push c2. It's check, and we're covering the b1 square. So they would have to find a way to interpose the check, and they just can't do it. They can interpose with the knight, but if the rook has already moved over, then... Wait, so... Yeah, so if the rook takes... then the rook can't back up the knight, and if the knight takes, then the knight can't interpose. So it looks like we've actually solved it. Alright, so we've got this rook here, goes up, lures the rook over, then we push, it's check and covering the square, the knight blocks, we take the knight, right, so we're here, take the knight, and we got mate. Alright. Yeah, this is fun. I think I'll add it to my training. Yeah, I've been really liking this. The thing I like about this is that the lines seem reasonable. Yes, I agree. At times in Chessables visualized when the lines didn't feel like something worth calculating in the game. Okay. Yeah, these all feel pretty... These puzzles seem like pretty early Puzzle Rush puzzles, like maybe 24 something. They feel quite intuitive, like you're like, ooh, I can kind of sense it. And so to me, it's more about just going through and solving it. We're going to go to 10 this time. We're just going to keep bumping it and see when our brain breaks. That's what we're going to try to break the brain. Yeah, a bit jankier puzzles. Yeah, I agree. Chess.com's puzzles, I think, are jankier. I think I would agree with that. Okay, so here we go. We're going 10 back. We're going way back. So we got to set up this attack. I think we can see already that we're doing pretty well, right? We've got this queen on a really good diagonal. We're probably going to shift the bishop to the diagonal. The rook goes to g1, attacking the king. We can kind of see this unfolding, so let's watch it unfold. So the rook moves to g1, attacking the king. The rook goes to b6, attacking the bishop. Okay, we play knight g5, threatening checkmate, and they can't take with the queen, so they have to play g6 to stop the checkmate. Okay, so now we're probably going to move our bishop. Indeed, we move our bishop to d5. pinning the F pawn. Let's keep that in mind. They play rook b5, once again attacking that bishop and chasing it around. Now it sacks on f7. The rook takes. Our knight takes on h7. The king takes on h7, and it is our move. And I think we need to remember now. So basically it is, there are no more pawns other than the g6 pawn. Our rook is hitting it and our queen is hitting it. So if we take with the queen, and the problem is they're on f7 and they have the rook on b8, so they're covering both ranks. So if we take on g6 and they move, say, king to the corner, h8, how do we handle that? We would play, all right, there's no pawn there. So we could play something like, yeah, I think queen h5 is actually mate. Where's their rook, though? The rook is actually on b5. It chased our bishop. So then we can't go to h5 to check because the rook is covering it. We can't go to h6 because the queen is still covering it. We only have these two pieces. So bang, bang. Rook is there. Wow. Harder than I thought it was going to be. It feels like it should be very simple. Okay, and I was thinking maybe we would do like a rook lift, but then queen c1 is mate. So maybe we should take with the rook. Let's try that. So we take with the rook on g6. The king, well, I guess we'll start with h8 again. If the king goes to h8, it doesn't seem to work either. Seems worse. Okay, so I'm going to take with the queen on g6. King goes to h8. Oh, okay. Remember, the rook has moved to b5. It is not covering b8. So if they go back to h8, we just go queen g8 mate. If they go king f8, that is where the real question would come in then. We could play queen g8, king jumps out to e7. Then what? Move the rook back to e1. The king moves to d7. It looks to me like the king gets away. I guess we can play queen e8 check, but then the king continues to run to say b7. I think he's safe. So it's not, doesn't quite work. Take on g6, goes to f8. Then what? Check. There. The rook is on f7, so I can kind of run behind that rook. Can't go to d6. That's covered by the bishop and the pawn. Okay. Okay, I think it has to be g8. So rook, queen g8. King can only go to e7. Okay, so we check on e7. And when the rook goes, when the king goes to d7, oh no, we can't take the rook on f7. The queen is there. So we would have to do something like queen e8. It's on the light square, so that king can't go to c6. It has to stay sort of in the middle. Looks like only move is d6. Then if we check on d1, the king's only move, I think, is F5. Yeah, I think I'm missing something pretty obvious. Like, this is a very long chasing of the king. My guess is it's much simpler. Alright, well, I'm going to make this move. Goes to h8? Well, that's as easy as it comes. So, what if f8? Can we just see right here what would have happened? If f8... Sure, what did you guys find with f8? Let's see. How is king f8 legal? I think it was legal because we were on queen on g6. I think he put on g7 in my mind. What? Wait, the king went where? Queen takes g6. Oh! Wait, the king wasn't on g8? Oh, that's what happened. Oh, and I can't see it anymore. Okay, so that was the problem. So... spending a lot of time on this line. That can't happen. That's calculation, though. That is exactly what happens to me sometimes. Is... you get in a spot and you like put one piece on the wrong square, and then you start spinning out of control because it's not working anymore, even though your intuition is telling you it works. Find the answer. So yeah, that must have been very annoying for you guys because you're like, what are you talking about? It's checkmate. What are you even talking about right now? Okay, yeah. So I got the both rooks left, and then I just had the king on the wrong square. So my apologies for that one. We're going 12. Let's totally break the brain. I mean, that one kind of broke, though. We saw that one kind of broke. I lost track of the king. All right. So bishop takes the knight. The knight takes back. Okay. a4, solidifying our pawns, freeing up the knight to move. It's already free to move, but whatever. Knight g4. So they take their other knight. Remember the knight that captured. It's now that knight. It moves down to g4 into a more aggressive posture. We take our knight on g and move it to e4. It is now attacking the vacated f6 square. It's backed up by that bishop. Okay. Then they play knight e3. So that knight that was on g4 is now rerouting to e3, forking the queen and the rook. Okay. We do not take with the bishop, which is what I thought we were going to do. Instead, we just save the queen moving to f2. So we now have our knight hitting f6, our queen hitting f6, our bishop hitting f6, but there's something on f6. Interesting. So they go knight takes f1, taking our rook as expected. We take with the other rook, so we still have a rook hitting that file. They take their rook and drop it back to e7, protecting that f7 spot. We play queen f5. Where's our bishop? I've lost track of that. Oh, no. No? Oh, right. We can play queen f5 because we swung around the bishop to f2. So now we go up to f5. Okay, and that is threatening mate on h7. So they play queen e6. That is mate, right? So more time. Bishop takes, knight takes, a4. Knight comes down. Our knight goes to the middle. Their knight goes to e3, forks. Our queen evades. Their knight takes. Our rook takes back. Their rook drops back. Our queen comes up to try to mate. And they just play queen e6, not even caring about the mate. So this is mate. Ooh, that's not mate. How is that not mate? Does it have something in the way of the mate? Or do I have something? I bet I do. I moved the knight to e4. I never moved the knight. That's the problem. Okay. So yeah, so the answer is then we have to move the knight so that we can mate. So we are moving the knight to f6 with check. And then it doesn't matter how they take back, right? Like if they take with the queen, it's still mate. If they take with a pawn, it's still mate. So that is the answer. So we go here, and then we come in and mate. There are still more moves. They replied with queen takes f6. Yes. Right. And then we go here and mate. Okay. Whoops. Yep. Me too, M. Norris. I was tricked also. I thought we had it a mate in one, which seemed weird. I was like, why are we doing a mate in one? We've got a phantom bishop on g5 in this analysis. I don't think so. I don't think I had a bishop on g5. Okay, that was interesting. Or are you saying you had one? Or are you saying I had one? I mean, I don't remember all my analysis now, but I didn't think so. We're gonna go up. Should we? Yeah, we're gonna go one more to 14. That's it though. I can tell I can't do more than that. Not tonight. And then we're going to start scaling it back. Rook b8. Okay. Whatever. We move our rook over. Rook h6 check. Okay. We move up to g5. We are not threatening their knight. It's backed up. Their king goes up to g3. Okay. Then we play b5. Our rook is supporting that push. So c takes, rook takes. Okay. What? Rook takes a6. Okay, I made a mistake somewhere in my, at least in my head. Wait, what? How? Oh, the other rook. Right. I was thinking somehow the a file was open. No, but I forgot. They had their rook on h6 that can now come across and take because we've given up the defender of it, which seems super weird to me. Okay. So they take, but we now have our rook on that open file, so I can go up to b3 and check, which doesn't seem all that useful. They actually just block it with f3. We take that pawn on b2. They put their rook on c6 now behind another one of our pawns. We go rook h7, bringing our other rook in. So we have a rook on b2 and a rook on h7 now. And then they play rook c5, gobbling up more material. And now they're in trouble because they have played f3. So we can now swing either rook to h2 with check. Which one do we want to do that with? The rook that's on h1 on this board is not there. It's on c5. The other rook is there. So let's say we take the h rook and bring it down to h2. Their king is currently... Oh, no, wait. Their king is actually... Their king's actually on g3 still with f3. That doesn't quite work how I was thinking it did. But maybe it's a... okay. Let's say I go rook h2. I thought maybe there was a mate, but can't they play rook g1? That other rook on a1, swing it to g1. If they do, seems like they're covering the mate. So what am I missing? Our knight is gone. Our king is on g5, so we could put a rook on h4. Maybe that's what we want to do instead. Put the rook on h4, threatening to play rook takes g4. They can't go back. Their only play would be king h3. Wait, is that knight still on f5? I believe it is. Yeah, so we can't actually play rook h4. Okay, so I need to go through the moves again because I think I've Lost track of something important. So, rook b8, rook h6 check, king moves up, b5, they take, we take on b5, rook's on the open file. They take our knight, we check them, they push the f pawn, so it's king on g3, king on f3. We take that b pawn, they move to c6, we move the rook over, and they take the other pawn. So that's exactly what I had seen. So how come I can't find the move? Oh, okay. I think I have it now. I think the move is rook b2 to h2, so that then we can play rook h3 mate. So let's see what happens if we play rook over to b2. Yeah, there's no way to escape because our king has moved up. They can't check us with their knight. They can't check us with either rook. I don't actually know what white is going to do there, but that looks like it works great. I don't know what white's best move is. I think we're going to have to find out. So it feels like they have lots of cruddy moves. Okay, so they went f4, check. Okay. So we would just take with the pawn. They replied with king f3. And then... yeah, we still just bring our... oh, wait. Now that they're on f3, they're going to be able to block with the knight, aren't they? Oh, I didn't think about that. They're on f3. Wait, we took... oh, right, our king is there. We took an f4. If we play rook h3, they block with the knight. I don't know. I think they can just block with the knight. Oh, I can't do this? No, it's here. Yeah, they block with the knight. So now what? We got rook here, king here, knight there. And our pawn is gone. King there. Huh. Take. King takes. Doesn't look great. There's gotta be a mate here. There. There. Okay. It's important that our rook is actually holding on. I mean, our pawn is holding on to g4. That's what I missed. So we can just go there. Okay. That was a hard one for me. That was a hard one. He just thought his queen couldn't get through the d3 bishop. Okay. Yeah, I got it. That was a hard one. Wow, why is it so far behind? What is going on? Okay, there we go. I fixed it. Okay, that was a hard one. We're gonna back it up a couple. We're gonna go back to 8. We're gonna go back to 8. That was too hard. Oh, that was breaking me. I do like the way I'm doing it though, of not just saying the coordinates, but kind of talking through what is happening, because that's how I actually calculate in my head. When I'm calculating in my head, I don't even really use coordinates. I want to, but I'll just, like for this one, I would just go like rook up, check, king to the middle, push the pawn threatening the rook, rook moves over all the way. Like that's how I do it. But what I'm trying to do is incorporate both now and see if that will fix some things for me, make me a little more precise. So rook a7, checking the king, moving the rook to the 7th rank, useful. King goes to e6, escaping the check, but kind of walking in the danger zone. We push c7, threatening to queen, threatening the rook. They play rook h8, moving out of the way, temporarily making it so we can't queen. So we play knight a4, which looks to me to be a very weird move. because it is not supporting the c8 square anymore, but perhaps the point is we can go into c5, checking the king. Rook c takes h2. So now both of their rooks are on the h file. They're on h8 and h2. We do indeed jump the knight into c5, checking the king. And the king comes back. I thought the king was going out. Coming back seems like a terrible idea. Comes back to d6. So the king is on d6. Our pawn is on c7. We have a knight on c5. And we have our rook on, I believe, a7. Yes, on a7. And their king is sort of in the middle on d6. So is rook d7 just mate? That's the first thing we need to look at. Can't get to d8 and d7. The pawn is actually in the way. Let's just say for a moment the pawn was out of the way. Would that be mate? Yes, that would be mate. So I think the answer is going to be pushing that pawn with tempo, which means getting a knight, letting them take with the rook, and then we swing the rook over for mate. Let's make sure that works. We play there. If it's a knight and it's check, yeah, they can't get away, so they have to take. Okay, so that's the answer, which is a weird one. We're gonna go here. Okay, so they just say rook takes, and then we'll go here, and I think that's mate. Okay, we got there, and it was a knight. Whew. Fun stuff. Fun stuff. Let's go a little more. There we go. We're playing the black pieces. So queen e3 check. So basically slamming the queen in the king's face, supported by that pawn. King g2. King slides over. Queen e4. Continuing to pester the king with yet another check. The king now goes to h3, which looks very dangerous to me. Queen f3. Okay, queen f3, check. King goes to h4. Queen f2 check on that diagonal. King pops out on g5. And now it's our move. So the king has popped out to g5. The knight is holding off f5, and our king is holding off a lot of other squares. So that king right now sort of restricted to that left side, right? It's got the h file, and that is it. Also, it could take the f pawn, only the queen is guarding that. Okay. So now what? Wait, where's our knight? Our knight hasn't moved, right? So we could play h6, and if the king takes, we would play queen h4, and that's just mate on the spot. It's that like side of the board mate. So if they don't take and they play king h5, then what? Then we can play queen takes h2, and then the king can go to, wait, no, it can't go there. Okay, cool. Okay, so the king is on g5. We play h6. It retreats to h5. We take on h2. It can't go to g5. It is stuck, and if it takes it, they lose also. Yep, so that is the plan. So we're going here. They take it, and then we go here for me. Okay, easy peasy. Man, this is so easy. We're so good at this. It's a really nice tool. Best of luck. Always enjoy your content. Time for bed. I hear you on that one, Peter. It's going to be time for bed for me too very soon. Okay, here we go. All right, f5. Okay. Actually, we should just look at this like it. looks like we're super close to mate already. But I guess if we do something like queen h5, threatening to go to h3, they'll just push the pawn. And if we go queen h3 now, we would lose the bishop. So we can't do that. So we're going to set this up a bit. So we're going f5. They do not en passant. They instead go rook a to e1. Okay. We go f4, adding our pawn to the attack. They play h3, hitting our queen, potentially chasing it away. We can't take, so we do have to back up to h5, still backing up that bishop. King h2, that's an important piece for us to remember. So the king is trying to support that pawn that has moved up. Our other pawn is on f5, let's remember that. We play rook, oh no, our pawn is on f4. We play rook f5, and they play rook g1 to kind of add some more defense. Okay. So what do we do? Queen is on h5, ready to just take the pawn. So let's say we do. I think that's the answer. We take on h3. The king has to take. We've got our rook on f5 that can come over to h5. And because of that bishop, all the escape squares are taken. That actually just works. So we are going... Uh-oh. Uh-oh. That's not what's happening. Oh, right. Our queen is down here. That's what's happening. So it's takes, the king takes, and then our rook goes over and mates. Okay. Got that. Pattern recognition makes these a lot easier at times. Exactly. That's what's kind of fun about having these positions be so easy, is that we're both combining the pattern recognition and then working on our actual visualization skills. So we're like getting pattern recognition, intuition, visualization, and merging them into one actual skill. Yeah, I agree. The f5, f4 sequence is quite cool. All right, let's do another. Okay, so it's going to be black to play and win. Okay, hold on. This might be important text. No, I guess not. Cool. Okay. Rook takes b5, so we're nabbing that pawn. Rook takes a6, giving up our knight. I think this one we've already seen. We're going to do it again just to kind of cement it, even though I'm quite sure we've seen this, yeah. So rook goes up to b3. They block with f3. We take that pawn at b2. Their rook comes over to c6 so they can attack our pawn. Our rook swings over to h7. They take the pawn, and it's our move. And what I remember seeing was it's this rook comes over, setting up the mate. Whoops, this rook is here. We go here. Right, they check. We take. They move over. We check. They block with the knight, and we can actually take because the pawn's holding it together. So the one problem with the site is it doesn't have that many tactics. I've seen some of them several times, and I'm not sure if it's because we were farther back, so it's getting to us again. Not entirely sure. I think they need some more tactics. But yes, you are correct. We did already have this one. Okay. Queen g2. So we're going back. We're blocking the check. We're staying on the g file. Queen e5 check. We are playing queen g3, blocking it. The queen decides to take the pawn with check, and we block with the rook. So we now have this constellation of rook on f2, queen on g3. They move the queen to a1 because their queen is under attack. They move their queen... Wait, no. We move our queen to c7. Okay. Attacking the f7 pawn again. And they don't respond well and play queen e1 attacking our rook. So we are going to go queen takes f7. They move over. Okay, it's the queen e1 move is better than I thought. I thought I was taking the rook with mate. But instead we have to do a back row mate. We go queen queen takes f2, then queen takes f7, then queen takes f8, rook takes, king takes. So we are, where's our queen? Our queen is on c7, right? So we're going here, they go back, we go forward, they take, and we mate. And where's, oh right, I said f2, not f1, and we win. Okay, got it. Okay, last one. We need one final puzzle. Let's see. Yeah, then we're gonna call it. I still got a bunch of stuff I have to do before bed. Okay, black to move again. That pawn looks scary. It's hitting our pieces, but we take their bishop instead. They take our bishop. Wait, what? No, they don't. My bad. So it's we take their bishop, d takes e3, f takes e3. They're just taking back. So they have kind of a big pawn center. Then we play bishop takes f6 on this pretty good diagonal. They castle into our good bishop by castling long. We play queen d5, hitting that corner pawn. Oh, they don't move over. Okay. They play queen g2, ignoring the threat. We take the pawn on a2, threatening mate on b2. They play c4, not stopping the mate threat. And it's just mate. So these puzzles are... Oh, okay. No, it's not. They did stop the mate threat. By playing c4, the queen is covering b2. We can't just go over and take. So what do we do? I gotta admit, I kind of lost track of things. Okay, so we took their bishop. They took back. We took on f6. They castled long. We repositioned our queen to d5. They went to bishop g2, attacking our queen. We took on a2, and they blocked on c4. And our pawn is not there to help us on. And their queen is still there guarding b2. And our rook is still there, but not doing anything useful. Huh. I'm sure this is incredibly easy. That much I know. Oh, okay. Wait. No, b2's still there. For a second there, I thought I could play queen a1 mate. So the king is on c1. The rook is on d1. Our queen is on a2. So we could feasibly just play queen a1. Only move is king c2, and then we can play queen b2 mate because the queen is no longer covering. So that's what we'll do. So we'll go check, king moves up, then mate. Okay. We got there. I think that was a pretty good solve rate. I think we did pretty well. Just in case you didn't know, this is called listudy.org, listudy.org. We've got a lot of interesting things here. I want to look at, is there a way to make the blind tactics harder? I'm just curious. I'm not sure I need them harder, but I'm just wondering. What about in settings, boards, user settings? Okay, nothing under there. Under regular tactics, we've got this. There is peaceless tactics. Oh, that's interesting. So peaceless tactics looks quite interesting. We don't even know what's on the board, so it's even more blindfold. We have to put them on the board and then do the tactics. So let's do this one. I'm just kind of curious what it would look like, and I think that's going to wrap it up for today. So, king is on d7. First of all, okay, it's white to play. Their king is on d7. Their knight is seemingly uninvolved on g2. Our king is all the way down on g6. And we have a pawn on h2 and g3. Very weird. I don't even know what we're trying to do. So the knight is like in our little pawn setup. And we have a king on g6 and their king on d7. What? Okay, I guess we're just gonna try to queen this h pawn. I don't really know what's happening here, so we're gonna do this. Wrong move. Okay. We'll move the king to better box out the king. Okay. Correct move. There are still more moves. Okay, so they move king d6. So king is here now. Okay, let's continue opposition. Nope. We'll move the h pawn. Okay. And that's it. Okay, that was not as... I don't know what the word I'm looking for. I didn't enjoy that as much as I enjoyed those other tactics. Yeah, I mean, this is a hard one, but that was very weird. There was like nothing forcing. It was just like play an endgame essentially, like a regular endgame, not a forcing endgame, without seeing the board. It's very weird. I want to see if they're all like. I'm gonna do one more. So again, it's gonna be white to play. Their king is way over on b3. But our pawn is also way over there on a4, but ahead of the king, so that's important to note. We have a pawn all the way down on b6. They have a rook attacking it on e6, and we have our king on c5. Okay. So the king can't move up to b4. They can drop their rook down to e5 to check us, but if we do, we can go to d6. So what I'm trying to decide is, do we push to b7 or do we push to a5? See, if we push to b7 and they check us, we can just go behind the pawn, and then we're going to go out to a7 and we'll be able to queen. If we go to b7 and they go up to e7 to attack it, then we just go behind it with the king. Then they like, oh no, they could take it then. We take back and they take our other pawn. Interesting. So what if we play a5 first, and they play their king up to a4, and then we push a6, they take on b6, we go a7, and they go a7 with the rook. So I'm not actually seeing the answer. Oh, no. If they take on b6, we would take. Yeah, so I think we just move the pawn up. Not 100% sure. Okay, we'll move this pawn up. Okay, so they go to rook to e8. I'm going to move my king behind. I just don't think this works, though. Okay, it doesn't. So we move this pawn now, I guess. Okay, solved. So we have a pawn here. We have a pawn here. Their rook is all the way there. We're gonna keep pushing the pawn. Okay, I don't really like these very much. If they were more forcing, I would like them, but the pieceless ones I'm not loving. I actually don't see why h4, king e7, king g7 doesn't work in the previous one. So, in the previous one, I don't know. That one's long gone from my memory, unfortunately. Well, M. Norris, thanks for hanging with me this whole time. Peter, I know you're gone, but good seeing you anyway. And the other people who came by, we got Evo, we got Pond. Thanks everyone for coming by. Hope you had a good time. Once again, this is leestudy.org. Cool stuff. Hopefully they put some more puzzles in, because I feel like what I'd also love to see with these blind tactics is the ability. I love the ability to pull back the plies. I would love the ability to make the puzzles a little harder. Not way harder, a little harder. So, interesting stuff. Fun resource. I will see you all next time.